Guys, we're going to round out with a question that our friends over at the All City NBA show asked us, or not just asked in general, their viewers. Which team is under the most pressure right now? Do you feel like the Suns are in this conversation? Do you feel like it belongs to somebody else in the league? How are we feeling pressure-wise?
Can you do most pressure like to win a championship or currently this moment pressure?
Ultimately to win a championship, because there's a lot of expectations that teams were given over the offseason. Who has kind of lived up to it and who's got a lot of pressure to continue to live up to it, I suppose.
It's the Clippers, man.
I got to say Clippers-Lakers.
Yeah, and for the Clippers, it's because if this doesn't work this season, you got a lot of guys that are becoming free agent, a lot of high-paid players. Your coaching situation with Tyronn Lue is still up in the air. Like, what are you going to do if this doesn't work out? This James Harden swing for the fences that you've made, it's got to be them, because everything rests on them staying healthy and them figuring out the Harden stuff. Yeah. And if they don't, this could very well be a lottery bottom feeding team next year or the year beyond.
You all right, Lynn?
Yeah, my eye burns.
Oh, I just saw. All right, I'm just making sure. No, I think it's Lakers-Clippers. Listen, Lakers this offseason, everyone said they had the best offseason.
I wasn't shaking my head at you. I was laughing at Lindsay.
Oh, no. You know, the Lakers supposedly had the best offseason.
Yeah.
They went out there, spent some money. It hasn't paid dividends, and the clock on LeBron is running out. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if they don't do something, I think they're under a lot of pressure to get something done. And then to G's point, I mean, the Clippers got to do something. So I think the two LA teams are the front runners. I actually don't feel like the Suns have any pressure. I don't. I think the Suns' window is more than this year.
Okay, because I was going to say, if we change this to pressure to win a championship, does that change your answer then?
No, not for me.
No, I mean, there's still, like, the expectation for the Clippers is to be competing for championships. I don't know if people look at that roster now and see them as a real championship threat. So for me, the four teams that have the pressure on them to actually win it all: Boston, Milwaukee, Phoenix, Denver, maybe Philly.
That's what I was going to say. Philly, yeah.
I think it's 100% the Suns.
You do?
Really?
Yeah.
Because the national narrative is this team's all in, that there's the pressure of Bradley Beal. Is he coming back? Is it going to be healthy? Are they saddled with this? You look at the Clippers and you say the fact that these guys are free agents is a negative. I look at it as a positive, because if this doesn't work, they have an out option on it. For the Suns,
yeah, but no draft picks.
They got no capital.
But the problem for the Suns is they got no cap space, no draft picks. Like they're in a completely locked in. So if this doesn't work, I think you got 2 years.
That's what I
think. But if it doesn't work this year, the pressure mounts even more next year. I think there is an immense amount of pressure on the Phoenix Suns for this to work. And I think the fact that there have been the injuries early have added to that pressure, because people are going, this is exactly what we told you it was going to be, right?
Yeah.
And we look at it and we go, okay, so they've won 7 in a row. But you look at, the fans in Phoenix, the national narrative. Winning 7 in a row doesn't do anything to quell that. The only thing that's gonna fulfill that for anybody is a title, right? So I think that in and of itself adds the most pressure. The Lakers are gonna, everybody kind of expected. AD could wind up hurt. LeBron is over the hill. Austin Reeves wasn't who we thought he was. There's excuses there that they can turn to and make that I think, because they're the Lakers, people will buy into that narrative. The Clippers, everybody knows it's a desperation move, but they also have Steve Ballmer with deep pockets and a potential out next offseason to actually go chase people, because they'll have cap space. The Suns are here. This is what they have. And all of it seems to add to the pressure.
I feel like that's pressure from a fan perspective, though. From like a national perspective, I don't know if that pressure exists in the same way. I mean, they could do the whole "I told you so" thing, but I feel like there's more pressure on the Celtics than the Suns, based off of how much love and admiration they get.
I feel I feel like it's partly, to your point, like the way that we consume the NBA now. There's pressure on all of these teams that are in the running because, like, with Boston, every time that something goes wrong for the Celtics and they come up short, it's we got to break up Tatum and Jaylen Brown. We got to make a swing for the fences move with Kristaps Porzingis. We're still relying on like a 37-year-old Al Horford to be our starting set. Like, there are concerns with the Celtics, and they're the best team in the NBA record-wise right now. But if they fall short again while being one of the best teams in the NBA, there's going to be immense pressure on that front office to like, okay, why can't we get over the hump? Milwaukee, the pressure is eased up a little bit because, you know, you've already won a title, but Giannis applied the pressure to them this summer to make them hire his guy as coach and bring in Dame Lillard. Philly, if you don't win or get to the conference finals, at least with Joel Embiid, at what point he going to be like, I don't want to be here anymore? Like, there's pressure on all these teams. My thing with the Suns is there is immense pressure to win in these next 2 years because you've had this window of title contention. But at the same time, Devin Booker's still only 27. You're still going to have 30. Him beyond this immediate window. Maybe, you know, maybe he looks at the situation at that time and says, I can't win here anymore. But with this owner that we have and the allure of Phoenix, the cap space that'll be freed up by then, I have a hard time seeing a scenario where Phoenix doesn't reload. But I do agree with you. There is a lot of pressure on Phoenix, not just from the fan base here because of the perception of the big three.
But I think, Lindsay, you bring up a good point. What's the definition? What's the pressure? Is it internally? Or is it the fan base? Is it some combination of all of it? Is it talking heads? Because to me, it's the fan base where the pressure comes from, because this fan base is so antsy because they've never seen a title. Every little thing, and I don't know how much that permeates the team, but at some point it's got to. And the way I know that Devin Booker's the only guy left from the last 2 years. Well, the finals team, the Mavs collapse. I know Katie was here last year in that Nuggets series, but like there's pressure there too because of the way you flamed out in the playoffs, in particular against the Mavs and in deciding games. So it really depends. I don't know. Katie and Book don't seem like guys that ever feel pressure regardless.
That's my point. When I hear the question, I'm thinking as a player, as the organization player, who's got the most pressure organizationally, player-wise. I'm taking the fans out of it. Because like Gerald said, I mean, fan bases are all going to say, we got to win, we got to win. When I look at the Lakers, there's a ticking clock. That clock is ticking. LeBron ain't getting younger. Okay. When you look at the Clippers, there's a clicking clock. I'm sorry. These guys are gonna be free agents. They're gonna move on. The Warriors as well. You got an issue with Klay Thompson. Wiggins isn't playing well. That contract's looking atrocious right now. So there are issues with the Suns.
But the Lakers and Warriors have won their titles. Right?
Yeah, well they have.
Clippers and Suns, since they haven't, I think it makes it a little different. If the LeBron experiment ends and you get one title, you go, we got the title, right? So you got that. The Warriors, if they don't win another one, they're still the greatest team of the last 15 years. Even Milwaukee, if they don't win, they still won the first one since the 70s there.
Right. Yeah, I get that. From that perspective, you're right.
But I think James might be gone if they don't win this year, depending on how they exit.
Yeah, he may.
So there's pressure, I think, from that perspective in a front office spot too.
I think the Suns are going. I think the Suns are going to do everything they can to win this year. Yes. But I just don't think that if they don't, I don't look at them and say this is a 1 year experiment. If they don't win this year, I think next year.
Yeah, I 2 years from now.
Yeah, next year. If we're sitting in this chair after this year and next year and they ain't win yet, we in a heap of shit.
But I will say if the Celtics or the Sixers fall short, we could see very different teams next year. Yeah. I don't know if I'd say that about the Suns outside of the end of the bench
rotational guys. Yeah.
Clippers, Celtics, Suns, I think all have immense. Philly, I think there's less because of the James Harden mess. You can do the this season wound up.
I don't know.
No,
I think Joel's
going on back there with. Oh wait, no, we're talking Philly. Sorry,
Philly. I think Joel, Linz. I think Joel Embiid. Y'all can mark it down. Philly doesn't win this year. Joel Embiid, this will be his last year in Philly. I'm telling y'all, that's the pressure.
Then guess what? It's going to be Joel Embiid's last year in Philly. Too bad they have to break up the greatest duo in the NBA right now.
I mean, yeah. Good point.
So sad. Jay pulling a Lindsay right now said, I agree with everyone, but not completely agree with anybody.
Okay, cool.
I get it, Jay.
There you go, Jay.
I really
I get
do.
it. I get it.
100%.